Hello, I'm Jana, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Wow, we are switching gears fast. We just concluded our Halloween extravaganza series, and now we are on to the Christmas making season. So today we're going to be kicking things off with this year's Christmas Tim Holtz Stamptember set. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're using for today's card, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. So today we are switching gears pretty quickly and we're going to be diving into Christmas. So I thought to kick that off, we would be playing with this year's 2024 Stamptember stamp set. And check this out. This is so cool and I'm feeling super lucky to have gotten my hands on one of these. As I recall, these did sell out in under 24 hours, so feeling really lucky I was able to scoop one up. Now these are pretty cool. They came with their own stamp die cut, and this is by Simon Says Stamp. In addition to that, I was also able to scoop the coordinating die set, also by Simon Says Stamp, and this is going to be super useful to cut out all of the pieces. Not going to do that today, but definitely useful for the future. I can feel a lot of compartmental crafting in my future. So let's go ahead and set this aside, and we're going to pull in some pre-cut stamp pieces that I have here, and we're going to start stamping. So first things first, I'll need to choose exactly which stamps we're going to be using on our die cuts. I've got 8 of these that are going to go onto our card, so we need to choose the 8 that we want out of here. Now, I gotta say, there are some awfully good stamps in here. I mean, check this out. We've got this really cool lantern. Absolutely fell in love with that the second I saw it. We've got a mitten, a snowman, a stocking, a coffee cup. That's going to be very useful for some future card making. An ice skate, an adorable elf, an ornament, a cute gingerbread man, a darling little snowflake, a reindeer, a star, a caroler, snow globe, a Santa Claus, letter to Santa, Christmas tree, candy cane, and a present. Then we also have this neat postal mark, and then a ton of fantastic sentiments. So, of course, let's go ahead. I'm going to pick the lantern as one. Definitely the mitten. Let's see. I'm thinking the star. That'll fit. And the snowflake. Let's see here. Ooh. The stocking. That'll be a good one. That fits. Definitely the candy cane. I love that. Let's see if the snow globe will fit. Now I'm going to just kind of weed this since we're already halfway there and get rid of that extra red rubber. And a Christmas tree. Great. Those will be perfect for my first stamps. You know what? The Christmas tree is actually a little big. I'm surprised. So let's swap that out for the gingerbread. Okay. Now, just very quickly, I'm going to pull off this extra red rubber. We don't need all that on here. It'll be easier for me to put stamps away without all that extra. So this is just called weeding, and we're just getting that extra bit out of the way. Okay. Nice thing is we only have to do this once. So I'm just going to work my way around, just kind of pushing the pieces, and then pulling out the rubber stuff. Okay. Oh, come on, stay. Sometimes I like to do this. Other times, if the stamps are really small, then I'll leave them in place with the extra red rubber. But in this case, I think the stamps will be just fine without the extra support. So we're just going to get rid of that. Okay. Oh, get back here. Being a little stubborn in places. That's okay. We'll make it work. Okay. And just one more sentiment to pull out of there, and we are good. All right. So we've got lots of sentiments, lots of stamps, and this is going to be lots of fun to create with. All right, double checking this. No stamps hiding in here, so I can just discard that extra piece. Great. So we'll set the rest of these aside for the moment, and I'm going to be pulling in some black soot, and I've also got my stamping block around here. Oh, there it is. We'll need that. All right. moving those off to the side, and let's stamp these out one at a time. So start with that adorable little gingerbread. Just give that a good tap and stamp. Okay, oh, these are going to be great. I love that already. And let's just zoom in a tad. Okay, so as I stamp, I'm just going to put things back onto the plastic sheet. All right, and I'll just set these off to the side. There we go, it's still in frame. All right, and let's go for the snow globe next. Okay, so this is going to give us our pieces for the card that we're going to make. I wanted to do kind of like a tiled collage, kind of a border around a sentiment. And we're also going to have lots of fun coloring these in. Now for coloring, we have got lots of options that we could choose from. And today I've decided to go with Distress Watercolor pencils. I have talked about the Distress Watercolor palette, and this seemed like a great time to bring that in because I do save all of my pencil shavings from the pencils to create a portable palette. Okay, there's the stocking. Now let's go for that lantern. Love that. And of course I will be pulling in my trusty water brush. Okay, there we go. Just a few more. And the mitten. Great. Very, very cute. I love these stamps. They are just so fun. Okay, next let's take care of that star. And the star can go here. Good. And last but not least, we've got a lovely snowflake. So let's get that. It's going to go here. And then we can start coloring. And the snowflake. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to set our stamp set aside for now and the stamping block. And let's go ahead and pull in the palette so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the palette that I have been working with. It's filled with pencil shavings from the Distress Watercolor pencils, and I do have this roughly in rainbow order. I do need to expand this to add more color because we do have a full set of Distress Watercolor pencils now, but these were just the first couple of sets that I put into a palette. So we're going to use that. I'm going to grab a water brush and start painting. Let's do an example together on camera and then we'll put everything on fast forward. So I'm just going to start with this little snowflake. I just want to do a kind of blue wash in the background. We're going to use maybe 2 tones of blue and just see how that works out. Just want to do like a little brush over the top like that. There we go. Oh, let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. There we go. So just kind of aiming for a little bit of a gradient. We've got some lovely blue. I think this is tumbled glass. And then let's go in with something a bit darker. Let's go for this. I think that might be, yep, that is prize ribbon. So got a little bit of a gradient going. That's cool. Nice, easy way to add some color. Okay, I want to go back to that first blue. There we go. Got a nice wash. So let's go ahead and put the rest of this on fast forward as we continue to add some color. Here are the finished pieces for our card, and they are just too cute. I am loving these. That was lots of fun putting all of these together. So we're going to set these off to the side for a moment, and we're going to work on our sentiment. Now, I already cut down a little piece of the wood grain paper, and that's going to be our base for the sentiment. And for the sentiment, I'm pulling in an older stamp set. This is CMS 440 Bold Tidings Mini. And, of course, gotta go with Believe in the Magic. So we've got that. Got a stamping block, and thinking, let's emboss this. And we're going to be using some lumberjack plaid. I've got my embossing dabber right here. Let's go ahead, tap, tap, tap. And stamp that down. Okay, good firm pressure. There we go. And I'll need just a little bit of scrap paper or something. There we go. This will work. And let's pour the embossing powder right on. Okay. Oh, that worked very well. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, we've got it. So I'm just going to set this down, and we'll be back in just a moment after I've had a chance to emboss. Okay, so here is the completed embossed sentiment with lumberjack plaid. That came out really good. It's even looking a bit distressed. So now let's move on to assembling the card. Here we have a background of sparkling craft stock from Ideology. Now we're going to take our die cut pieces and arrange them onto the base. We're going to be using some Simon Says stamp foam squares to give these a little bit of lift. So the plan is to put a single square on the back of each stamp, and then we'll be able to move these around and form our collage. So let's just get those foam squares out and placed. There we go, just a couple more, and we'll be ready to start arranging. Now, ideally, I want to make a fairly even grid work. I'm going to just do a rough layout and try to figure out where I want everything to go. Mostly, I want to figure out where all the different colors are going to be going and how things are going to match up, how the shapes are going to work together, and then we'll be able to play around, change things around, and then settle on the final pattern. One thing I'm kind of noticing right away is that the white background tiles don't quite fit in. I'm kind of thinking that I want to add some color to them. We've only got 3 of the white tiles, so it's kind of uneven. Yeah, I'm going to need to do something about that. I'm kind of thinking we'll just add some more color to these, and then I think our background's going to feel a bit more balanced. Okay, so happy with the arrangement, but we need more color. So we're going to go in, and I'm going to grab some Villainous Potion, and we're going to color another one of these in with that color, because I'm thinking if we do 4 different colors and have 2 of each color, that should give us a nice balance. Like I'm seeing that I've got red, blue, purple, and green. So if we double up on everything, that's going to give us the best balanced results. So just pretty quickly and pretty lightly, I'm just going to add a light wash in the background for each of these that does not have a color yet. All right, let's grab the mitten next, and we'll add more color. Okay, so I think I've pretty much got the layout, but still need to add more color wash. Let's see here. Yeah, we're grabbing the mitten, and I think we're going to want some of the barn door. That should work pretty well. And it doesn't need to be a heavy coat, it just needs to be kind of light, and I'm going to blend that around with the water brush so that we have a nice even background. Okay, so that one's done. Now let's take care of the stocking, and for that, we're going for some rustic wilderness. The green will offer us some balance and bring everything together. Okay, so that's looking good. We've got our colors, we've got some balance. Now we just need to stick these down onto the card base. And this is where things are going to get tricky. I'm going to peel the backings off, and I'm going to just try to place these to form a grid pattern. But I'm not really sure how much of a border I need around each piece, so this is definitely going to be a bit of trial and error. But the good news is, with the sticky foam back, they will be very easy to maneuver and take on and off the sparkling craft stock. So changing the position won't be a big deal. We just want to make sure that everything's going to be uniform and even. So what I'm noticing right away is that these are already too far spaced out. We're going to need to adjust these and try to even things off. I'm thinking I need almost 1/4 of an inch from the top and the bottom. And that's kind of looking like a little bit more than 1/8, but not quite 1/4 on the side that I've moved these away from the edge. So as long as everything lines up, everything's going to work. So at the moment, I'm thinking I want to do both sides first, and then I'll worry about those two middle pieces on the top and bottom. The main thing is that everything tries to match. Okay, let's peel off some more backings and work on our placement. Oh, I'm starting to like this. I like the grid that's coming together, and hopefully all the colors are going to look good once I have everything in place. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely working out. I like that. So the initial plan is, once the grid is set, then I've got this great space in the middle that I can add our sentiment to. Now, I do like doing the grid because we've been able to include 8 different stamps, and there's so many good ones in the stamp set. It's just nice to be able to use a wide variety and see what happens. Okay, so it looks like we're placing down the last one. That should be pretty good. I am definitely quite happy. So I'm adding 2 foam squares to the back of the sentiment, and that sentiment is on the wood grain Christmas cardstock. And for the sentiment, we embossed with lumberjack plaid glaze. That is definitely getting more balanced. But I think we need to do at least one more thing to the card before we can completely call it done. I like the frames, but I want more of an anchor. I want these centered. So I'm going to be going around with Distress watercolor pencil, and I'm just going to be coloring in a frame with the matching pencil. Like here, we did a wash in Villainous Potion in the background. So I'm just going to take the Villainous Potion pencil and draw in a border. There we go. I like having the contrast between the light and the dark. So the plan is to go around and do that for each of these pieces. So that means I'm going to need a barn door or a candied apple, preferably a rustic wilderness, and I'm thinking a mermaid lagoon. And that will give me a frame for each of these pieces. Next, let's go in with some mermaid lagoon. Again, we're just going to scribble that right around the edges. That should be pretty good. I don't know why, but a frame really just brings things together for me and adds some finishing touches. So I'm really glad that we're going back and adding the Distress watercolor pencil to this. And I really like how the pencil is darker than the wash, and it just adds more and gives more of a framed look. Okay. And now we're going to need another color, and I want to go in with some rustic wilderness. So again, we're just going to scribble this out. I'm going to work my way around the edge, and we're going to frame out the stocking and the candy cane. Not bad. And this is like really a quick and easy way to do a little bit of alteration. Good. So that's it for Rustic Wilderness. Next, I'm going to need to find a barn door or a candied apple pencil. Let's see what my choices are. Okay, not that. So let's see here. I think I'm going to go with the candied apple. That one should work well. It's a little more orange in the background. I suspect the background might have been barn door, but the candied apple will work pretty good. All right. There we go. That's nice and dark. And now we're just working our way around the gingerbread men. And that will pretty much wrap up the card. I'm really happy we did a little bit of stamping and coloring, and we've been able to create kind of a mosaic on here. That's really good. It's so fun to dive into Christmas card making after all of the Halloween this week. So here we are. This is our completed Stamptember card. We have done all sorts of stamping using Distress Archival black ink and the brand new Stamptember Christmas stamps. I also brought in CMS 440 Bold Tidings Mini, and we were able to use some Distress Glaze for our sentiment. And as a last minute addition to the card, I also outlined each of those stamp pieces with some Distress Crayon. I love that we have that stamp die that came with the Stamptember set. Definitely a fun addition to the card. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner while we've started to get into the swing of all things Christmas and holiday related. Hope that you've enjoyed today's card making session with this year's Stamptember stamp set. Until next time, happy crafting.